If your body isn't responding the way it used to, if your energy feels depleted, your physical drive has quieted, and intimacy has started to feel more like a source of anxiety than connection, I want you to hear something important. This may not be an inevitable consequence of aging. In many of the men I've worked with over the past 13 years, the root cause turns out to be something far more straightforward: a deficiency in 3 specific vitamins their bodies have been quietly running low on for years. I'm Dr. Laura, a men's health specialist with over a decade of clinical experience helping men over 60 restore their energy, hormonal balance, and physical confidence. And here's something I tell my patients consistently. Many older men aren't lacking desire. They're lacking circulation, cellular energy, and hormonal support. In most cases, the path back doesn't begin at a pharmacy counter. It begins with understanding what your body actually needs. Today, I'll walk you through the 3 vitamins every man over 60 should be prioritizing, and how they work together to support healthy erections, testosterone production, and sustained energy. Stay with me, because I'll also cover the most common and costly mistake men make when taking these supplements, and how to correct it starting tonight. If this content is relevant to your health journey, subscribe and turn on notifications. I publish practical science-backed guidance made specifically for men in this stage of life. Type 1 in the comments if this speaks to you, or 0 if it doesn't. Your feedback genuinely shapes what I cover next. Let's start with the first vitamin. Vitamin D, the circulation foundation. I still think about a patient I'll call Paul. He was 67, articulate, emotionally present, and deeply frustrated. He told me in our first appointment, "I still want to be close to my wife, but my body just isn't cooperating." That kind of quiet frustration is something I've heard from hundreds of men, and in Paul's case, as in so many others, the starting point wasn't a prescription, it was vitamin D. Vitamin D is one of the most underestimated nutrients in men's health after 60. Most people associate it with bone density or childhood development, but it plays a direct and measurable role in male vascular and hormonal function. Vitamin D acts as a key regulator of nitric oxide production, the compound your blood vessels depend on to dilate, carry oxygen-rich blood, and support healthy erectile function. When vitamin D is low, nitric oxide levels fall with it. Circulation slows, energy drops, physical responsiveness declines. What makes this particularly significant is the prevalence. Over 40% of older adults are deficient in vitamin D, including men who exercise regularly, eat balanced diets, and have otherwise clean health markers. They're doing everything right on the surface, but their vascular system is working with one hand tied behind its back. Correcting this doesn't require complicated intervention. 15 to 20 minutes of morning sunlight, incorporating salmon, tuna, eggs, or fortified dairy into your diet, and supplementing with a high-quality vitamin D3 can produce meaningful shifts in how your body performs. I've had patients who were struggling to complete a neighborhood walk report, improved stamina, clearer thinking, and renewed physical confidence within weeks of addressing this deficiency. This is not anecdote, it's biochemistry. But vitamin D can only do so much on its own. Even with healthy circulation, your body still needs the cellular energy to sustain it. That's where the second vitamin becomes critical. Vitamin B12, the cellular energy engine. One of my most memorable patients was a 72-year-old retired firefighter I'll call Robert. Strong, disciplined, proud of his health habits, but visibly exhausted. He told me, "I sleep 8 hours, I eat my meals, but I still feel like I'm dragging through the day. My mind is foggy. And when it comes to being close with my wife, I just don't have anything left." What Robert was describing is the clinical picture of vitamin B12 deficiency, one of the most common and most frequently missed conditions I see in men over 60. B12 is the vitamin your body uses to convert food into usable cellular energy. Without adequate levels, no amount of sleep, nutrition, or exercise will fully compensate. Your cells simply can't produce energy efficiently. B12 is also essential for the production of red blood cells, which carry oxygen to your muscles, your brain, and your reproductive organs. When red blood cell production falters, everything downstream suffers. Stamina fades, concentration dulls, and physical drive diminishes. The complicating factor is absorption. As men age, the stomach produces less intrinsic factor, the protein required to absorb B12 from food. This means that even men eating meat, eggs, and dairy regularly may not be absorbing sufficient amounts. This is why so many older men feel persistently tired and mentally foggy despite otherwise reasonable health. The solution is targeted and effective. Supplementing with a high-quality B12, or in cases of significant deficiency, receiving clinically administered injections can restore mental clarity, physical stamina, and a genuine sense of alertness that many men assumed they'd simply lost to age. Robert returned to my clinic 3 months later, looking like a different person, more present, more energized, and back to the life he wanted to be living. Vitamin E, the vascular and hormonal protector. A patient I'll call James, a 70-year-old retired pilot, came to me genuinely puzzled. He was disciplined about his diet and exercise. By every external measure, he was doing the right things. But he told me, "Lately I feel off. My drive is down. I'm not recovering the way I used to. And honestly, I just don't feel like myself." James wasn't missing effort or motivation. He was missing vitamin E, a nutrient that rarely gets adequate attention in men's health conversations, but that I consider foundational for men over 60. Vitamin E is a potent fat-soluble antioxidant. Its primary role in male health is neutralizing oxidative stress, the cellular-level damage caused by inflammation that accumulates silently over decades. Oxidative stress is one of the leading drivers of vascular deterioration, hormonal decline, and reduced physical responsiveness in aging men. It weakens arterial walls, impairs blood flow, and suppresses testosterone production. Vitamin E works directly against all three of these processes. Crucially, vitamin E helps maintain arterial flexibility, the physical elasticity of blood vessel walls that allows them to expand adequately in response to circulatory demand. Without this flexibility, blood flow is compromised regardless of how strong the cardiovascular system otherwise is. Vitamin E also supports the efficiency of testosterone synthesis, which matters enormously after 60, not just for physical performance, but for mood, motivation, and overall sense of self. Food sources are accessible and practical. Almonds, sunflower seeds, olive oil, spinach, and Swiss chard all provide meaningful amounts. For men with documented deficiency, a high-quality natural vitamin E supplement can fill the gap. James came back to my clinic several months later, visibly different, sharper, more energetic, and, as he put it, feeling reconnected to himself. Why these three work better together? One patient I'll call Walter, 68, a retired high school coach, had been supplementing with each of these vitamins separately at different points. He noticed partial improvements, but nothing transformative. It wasn't until he began taking all three consistently, in the right forms and amounts, that he came into my office grinning and said, "Dr. Laura, I don't know what changed, but I feel like I have a completely new engine." That's the clinical reality of nutritional synergy. These three vitamins don't simply operate in parallel, they amplify each other's effects. Vitamin D stimulates nitric oxide production, improving vascular dilation and blood flow. Vitamin B12 supports red blood cell production, ensuring that improved circulation actually delivers oxygen efficiently to tissues throughout the body. Vitamin E protects the integrity of the blood vessels carrying that oxygen while simultaneously supporting the hormonal environment that drives physical energy and drive. I call this the vitality triangle: circulation, cellular energy, and hormonal protection, working in coordinated support of each other. This synergy is especially important for men over 60 because the body's resilience and recovery capacity are reduced. Nutrient absorption is slower, inflammation accumulates more readily, and a deficiency in one area can create a cascade that affects everything else. When all three are addressed together and consistently, many men report waking up more rested, thinking more clearly, responding more readily when it matters, and experiencing a return of confidence that no single intervention could have produced alone. But most men never experience this. Not because the solution doesn't work, but because they're making a mistake that quietly cancels out their progress. The most common mistake men make. A patient I'll call Gerald, 74, well-read and genuinely committed to his health, came into my office one morning carrying a bag full of supplement bottles. He laid them out on my desk and said, "I've been taking all of these for months. I still feel tired and foggy, and nothing is improving." The problem wasn't his commitment, it was the quality and form of what he was taking. The single most common mistake I see men over 60 make is assuming all supplements are equivalent. They purchase inexpensive synthetic versions from discount retailers, not realizing that the chemical form of a vitamin determines whether the body can actually absorb and utilize it, or simply excrete it. With vitamin B12, most generic brands use cyanocobalamin, a synthetic form that many older men cannot efficiently convert into the active form the body needs. The clinically superior option is methylcobalamin, bioavailable, active, and directly usable by your cells. With vitamin D, D2 is cheaper and widely sold, but D3 is significantly more effective at raising and sustaining blood levels. With vitamin E, synthetic versions often lack the full tocopherol spectrum that supports vascular and hormonal health. The second mistake is inconsistency. Taking a supplement occasionally when you remember it will not produce lasting physiological change. Your body's hormonal and vascular systems require steady, rhythmic nutritional support to rebuild and maintain function. 1 or 2 doses a week is not a foundation, it's noise. When Gerald switched to higher quality bioavailable forms and committed to daily consistency, his results followed quickly. Within a month, he reported better sleep, more energy upon waking, and in his words, feeling like himself again. Your daily vitality routine. When I work with older male patients, one of the first things they ask me, with a mix of hope and pragmatism, is, "Just tell me what to do each day. Keep it simple." That's exactly what I built for a patient I'll call Frank, a 66-year-old former carpenter dealing with persistent fatigue, poor sleep, and diminishing confidence in his intimate life. We didn't overhaul his lifestyle. We built a simple, sustainable daily structure around these 3 vitamins. Each morning, Frank started with a full glass of water and his methylcobalamin B12 supplement, alongside a protein-rich breakfast. After eating, he took a 15-minute walk outside to stimulate natural vitamin D synthesis. On cloudy days or in winter, he supplemented with vitamin D3 taken with his first meal, since it's fat-soluble and absorbs best with food. A small handful of almonds or sunflower seeds and a drizzle of olive oil over his lunch provided consistent vitamin E intake. That was the entire routine. Within weeks, Frank reported more energy throughout the day, more interest in physical activity, better quality sleep, and a renewed sense of closeness with his wife. He didn't feel younger, he felt stronger, more grounded, and more fully himself. You don't need a complex supplement stack or an extreme dietary overhaul. You need the right nutrients, in the right forms, taken consistently. That consistency is what builds the biological foundation your body has been waiting for. A final word. If you've stayed with me through this video, I want to speak to you directly, not just as a clinician, but as someone who has spent 13 years sitting across from men who've worked hard, built families and careers and legacies, and now find themselves asking why their bodies don't feel the way they used to. That question is not a sign of decline. It's a sign that you're still engaged, still invested in your quality of life, and still willing to do what it takes to feel fully present in your relationships, your health, and your sense of self. We've covered 3 essential nutrients. Vitamin D, the circulatory foundation that opens your blood vessels and restores oxygen delivery throughout your body. Vitamin B12, the cellular energy engine that powers your muscles, brain, and stamina. And vitamin E, the vascular and hormonal protector that keeps your internal environment functioning at its best. Together, they form a coordinated system of support that goes beyond physical performance. They support your confidence, your emotional presence, and your sense of identity. What I know with certainty, after 13 years of clinical practice, is this: it is not too late. Men in their late 60s and 70s who address these deficiencies consistently experience real, measurable improvements in how they feel and how they function. Your body still has the capacity to respond. You've already taken the first step by being here. Now take the next one. If this video was useful to you, hit like and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment telling me what resonated most or what topic you'd like me to cover next. Your feedback shapes this channel. And if you'd like to support ongoing content for men over 60, consider a small contribution. Every bit goes toward better research and reaching more men who need this information. I'll see you in the next video.